Hey everybody, Joe Malone here. It's Dallas Trading Floor. How are you today? It looks like it was a pretty big sell-off today. Tesla's down, and a lot of other stuff is down. So it is definitely a sell-off day out there. we just we may have seen, hopefully, not a reversal, but you never know how that can be out there. So definitely take the good with the bad, I guess. That's sort of how it's going. So um, it definitely. Well, are we okay? Good. We're seeing it. Good. 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 And also on the headphones, so we're good to go there. Just a little bit technically challenged as we read. So let's get into the slides with not any further ado. I mean, here we go. Basically, we are looking at yeah, kind of an interesting sell-off here. So let's look. Basically, this is the bear is out. So the bear's out of its cage and running around a little bit. The S&P is off, and the Dow is off, and we definitely have a little bit of retreat. We're still in a upward trajectory, though. The market is still up, if you can believe that. The S&P is off almost 2% when this slide was taken. The Dow Jones is down too, and the Nasdaq is down as well. So let me kind of show you kind of where we're at. We had a very big sell-off on the S&P. We almost went down to the 50-day, and it looks like we may have bounced. Let's see if I can. No, I can't improve that. It may have bounced here, but we may still see some weakness tomorrow. It's below that 350 level, which is so important on the S&P. Again, the spider, which I'm showing here, it is the largest ETF in the world, and it's very, very important. But it's definitely off. So definitely off today, as we can see. So how far will it pull back? Probably not that much further. I do think we're going to see a bounce here. The Qs also. Now this is really where the most of the selling has been done. So as you can see, these big volume bars here on Thursday and Friday, and then again today, we've definitely had a lot of selling. So this might portend a change in the market direction. You can't really say what's going to happen, but it definitely is moved off its highs. So better be careful. If you have margin right now, good time to pull in pull in those things. I'm still waiting to buy on the rebound, and I'll talk about that a little bit in a few minutes. Currently, my only holdings are in Microsoft, and of course that's down today. I have one holding in the small portfolio in Microsoft. Other than that, I am all in cash, and I've essentially been sitting in all in cash since the split of Tesla. I sold out right before that, and we are moving lower on that. I definitely will start buying. I thought I was going to be buying at 375, but the action was so intense to the downside, I probably will be out until 273. That's the new buy limit that I have on Tesla. I want to show you this small portfolio just so that you can see that and see what I'm talking about here on that. So I'm going to bring that up, and we'll still see that in a second. I'll kind of show you where my buy points are going to be coming in when hopefully this reversal is finished with with this big sell-off that we're having. It is a great opportunity coming in, but I just want to show you the portfolio as I have it now. So here it is for everybody. As you can see, there's a big red cash. I have cash out there, and I'm down almost 7%. So I'm almost at the limit on my Microsoft. Everything else was sold out. basically last week. I basically pulled out of all the other positions last week, and I'm basically holding cash and a little bit of Microsoft, but that's currently it. Now, I do want to show you, there are going to be some coming up opportunities. I've put 2 or 3 new things on the watch list, and I want to kind of bring them to your attention. One, of course, is Barrick Gold. It is in a buy zone right now, interestingly enough. I wouldn't necessarily buy it right at this moment. I'd want to see some more conviction in the market, but it definitely is in a buy zone. And the pivot on that is 28.50, and this is a true pivot. This is the strongest of my watch list, my new watch list stocks here. Also, there's another company. I believe that we're coming into a very strong season for the home builders, primarily because of pent-up demands. But that's not going to. It's not going to be even everywhere in the country. In places like New England and New York area, I don't think the market is going to be very strong. I think people are going to be selling there. But in the market in the Sun Belt, where we are here in Texas and also in Florida, with the so-called sand states, and also in Arizona, I think we're going to see some very, very strong movement in the home builders. So Lennar and D.R. Horton and those kind of companies are going to be looking good too. Also, there's another company that I really like. It's called Penn National Gaming. It doesn't have a real buy point, but it's pulling back to the 21-day average. It's definitely in the buy if you buy it off the bounce on the 21-day, and that's at 53.62. That's Penn National Gaming. So this is my watch list as it stands now. Here's the thing I want to bring to your attention. I have a pullback on, we're having a pullback on Tesla. I'm going to try to buy Tesla at 273.31 on the split shares. That's what I'm going to be trying to do. I haven't been able to achieve it yet. I've been waiting in cash, kind of waiting to see, and I'm putting my little toe in and then getting it burned and pulling it right back out. And so I am going to be probably in Tesla at 273.31. I don't currently know exactly where it's going to go. Obviously, because I'm not omnipotent. That would be nice if I was, but I think it is going to be pulling back to that, to that number. So maybe I can get you I can get you an actual call on that one as well. So let's see if I can do that real quick. That's on Tesla. And again, I am not in Tesla currently. I am waiting for the right time to re-enter it, but I will be back into that, and let's show a daily chart. I'm going to show you the weekly chart because that's really the one you have to buy off of as well. So let me see if I can go back to maybe I can go to the daily chart to show you kind of where that is. So here is the chart of Tesla. This is going to be where I'm going to be buying it. Currently, as you know, I'm not in the stock. It's pulled back extremely a lot, basically almost to the 50-day. It seems like it's catching a little bit of strength at 338.15. This may actually fall further, but I have my buy order in at this number 273, and hopefully. I may have to raise this a little bit because I do think that we're going to get some strong. We may get another down day tomorrow. We had a very, very strong pullback today to the 50-day moving average, and normally I would buy it on the bounce on the 50-day, but it didn't quite reach the 50-day. So I think that we may have a little bit more to pull back. I'm in it at 273. Currently, I'm in all cash. I'm waiting for it to pull back, hopefully to that level and start to pick up that, because I do believe on the other side with battery day coming, I am not abandoning Tesla by any stretch of the imagination. I'm just waiting for the the right time to buy it. Well, I definitely lost a little bit of money on my Microsoft. That's all I had. I had about 6 shares. Everything else I had been out pretty much in cash. I pretty much got vamoose on Thursday and Friday of last week. So I think pretty much everyone did get a pullback. Did get a pullback. So there you go. And that's kind of where it is. So okay, so we got some interesting stuff here. Can't wait to see what he says today. I've been waiting since 9. Okay, sorry about that. I thank you for sticking on the line. I appreciate it. I am basically. I do think this is a pullback. I don't think it's going to. I don't think we've seen a change in direction. I want to be really clear on that to everybody out there. I want to be really, really clear on that. I don't think we've seen a change in direction. I still think we're in an upward movement. Now, that said, I do think we're going to get we're going to get an overreaction on Tesla, guaranteed. Currently, as you can see, Tesla is trading, and I just want to show you, I just want to kind of show you the 10-minute chart on this, because this kind of tells the tale, I think. As you can see, it's trending down. It's still trending down. We haven't closed the day yet. I do think we're actually going to go lower on this. Again, I have my buy orders in on Tesla at 273. So hopefully, I may have to raise them a little bit. That may be a little bit too conservative, but I do think that we're going to see probably, we're very close to hitting the, we're very, very close to hitting the average here. I want to show you the weekly chart. As you can see, that this red line here, it's pulled back to the 50-day moving average. If there's going to be buying, it's going to start here. But I really believe that really we're going to see some support here, where I'm putting my arrow, and that's at about 273 to 275. That's kind of where I'm going to be in. That's where I'm showing on this chart, anyways. That's where I'm showing support. So I'm going to move on to the daily chart to show you that. 273.31 and 273. This is probably where I'm going to try to make my stand and start buying here again. Again, I was pretty much all out waiting for the turn. I thought it was going to. I thought the optimal day to buy it was going to be Thursday or Friday, and I did go in with just a few shares. When it moved back, I pulled out. So I'm pretty much all in cash, waiting for this thing to turn. So hopefully it will. And if it does, then I think we're going to go up from there. But there's going to be a lot of panic selling. Don't buy it too don't buy it too soon. But there's going to be an opportunity. How come the price of Tesla hasn't changed from this morning, but my call option has dropped in price? Well, the simple reason is because basically, when you have a call option, what you're doing is that your call option is basically looking out at the future, whereas the underlying stock is the price it is today. So what's happened is the value of that option, the future value of that option, has gone down with the price. Now, typically, the options only trade during normal hours. They don't trade extended hours. So you're going to definitely see a drop from Friday to Monday, because obviously they don't trade in normal hours. What's going to start to happen now is that the future value of that, and that's essentially what you're getting when you're buying an option. You're buying not only the intrinsic value, but you're getting the future value of the time value of that. That's going to go down because it is the underlying stock has gone down. So that's in a kind of in a nutshell, I believe, kind of what's happening. So Delta, I believe. Well, yeah, the Delta price definitely. In options, there's what they call the Greeks, and basically they're really simple. I mean, they make it out to be such a complicated thing, but it really isn't. Basically, what it is basically what it is just theta is t, or it's time. Delta is the difference. The bid ask. So it's pretty much that. So it's pretty simple on that. Anyways, I just wanted to go through that. So let's see if I have a question from TikTok, and thanks for watching me here on TikTok. So appreciate it. Oh wow, I've got a lot of questions here. So let's start from the top. What about Apple? Okay, well, let's look at Apple really quickly to kind of get an idea. I've been out of Apple essentially since before the split. Apple is sort of following the same pattern that Tesla is, but not quite as severely. It has definitely a down day on Apple. Now, here's the thing about Apple. They just announced that they are going to have a big announcement. They're going to have a big day on the new iPhone, and that's going to be on the 15th, I believe, of September. So I do think that we're going to see it strengthen a little bit on that. We're going to see Apple strengthen a little bit as it comes into that. But right now, the whole market, basically the techs, there's a lot of profit taking, and a lot of people are jumping out of them. So not a good time. If you have, this is why it's so important to everybody to set your stop losses at 7 or 8%. And the way you do that is you always, whenever you buy anything, you want to go in there and set that stop loss. Basically, the easiest way to do it is to multiply. And I know this is probably closing the door after the cows are out, but basically what you want to do is whatever you paid for it times 0.92. That's going to give you the number that you want to put in as a stop loss. And don't use the market stop loss, not the trailing. Good till cancel. So if you do that, you're going to protect your capital when you get these violent downturns. But after this shakeout, there's going to be an opportunity, I believe, because I don't see, at least not now, I don't see an overall different change in the trend of the market. That might change, but right now we're still in an up market, but we're in a pullback. So Tesla. Why is the stock still going down? Well, because people are selling it. What happens when you have splits like this is that you have a lot of people, basically funds, that get these shares and then they split them, and then they wait for the time that they can unload them. And that's what's happening now. They're selling those shares basically into the retail market, and and the retail market is absorbing them. Now, that's going to end, and I believe that we're going to see some support in Tesla. Remember, Tesla, the last base for Tesla was a pocket pivot, and it was basically at 1,000. So if you take that Tesla's selling for like 340 right now, 339. Basically, you could see it's much. It should be in the $200 range. It should be if that is the yardstick. So I believe that the real price of the Tesla probably will start to reverse when it moves below the 50-day moving average, which is right now. And I do think that I'm trying to buy at 272 and 273. We'll see if I can get it that low. I don't. It's very hard to call bottoms, but I'm going to be moving up my limits to see if I can buy it. I do think we're going to see weakness tomorrow in it, but you never can tell. It's just really hard to hard to say exactly where it's going to go. So yeah, okay. So yeah, I think 273 is going to be, well. That's where my limit order is in on this at 273. That's where I'm going to be trying to buy it. It's not there yet, and it may never get there, but I'm going to see what happens tomorrow. I do expect a little bit more weakness, and if I can get it at that price, of course I'll be going in very strongly at that price. So just wanted to to put that out there for everybody if they're interested. I also have that on my small portfolio so that you can actually see that, and I'll show you that just in a second here. Yeah, here we go. Here's my small portfolio, and this is the area called Watchlist here, and as you can see, I have Tesla in here. Basically waiting for the 50-day at 273.31. That's my basing number there. That's where I have my orders in. Now I don't know if it'll go down. It's still based on my calculation, and you can see this from prior days. It's still extended at 339. So will it pull back another 100? I don't know if it will. That's an awful lot for it to go. Well, it's not quite 100, but I do think it may pull back another 50. And get below 300. I think once it's in below 300, then it's going to be in a range. It may still be a little bit extended, but I'm going to be trying to buy it at about 273. That's where I'm going to be looking to buy it at that time. So it's kind of low. Thoughts on COHN? Let me see if I can give you a good number on COHN. Let me just pull that up, COHN, and there we go, COHN. All right, COHN and Company, interesting, $22. It's up $1. Wow, this is really good. Provides asset management. Okay, I'm not familiar with this, but it's very highly ranked. It's quite a good chart actually. I'm gonna basically see if I can put that up on. Get that a little bit bigger so we can analyze that chart together. So COHN, let me just pull that up. There we go. COHN. COHN. And there we go. So here it is. COHN. Let's take a look at it on the screen. There we go. Go back over there. Super. All right, so this is moved up very nicely today. It's settled back. There's a very good buying here. Unfortunately, there's nothing really here that I can see in terms of a pattern for a buy. It really has to be above $30 really to buy it. This is definitely a watch list stock. We probably need to see. We probably need to see it at a different level. I mean, it needs to be probably at about. It needs to be about 31.74 before it's buyable. But this is definitely a watch list stock. This is a good stock. I definitely, this is an interesting stock, and I think that it's well worth looking at. So let me see if I can get a little bit better chart on that. COHN. So let's go back to a little bit more detailed chart that I have here on that. And I'm not really seeing any patterns yet. Yeah, okay. It doesn't really have it's been trading quite nicely, and the earnings per share is just tremendous. Just came through earnings. It's nice. It does have a negative cash flow. I don't like that. Earnings per share is good, 78. That's not bad. I do think it's good. I think this is a watch list, but it's off of its 52-week high by about 29%. So I don't like to buy them at this level. I like to wait until they're looking at their new high. So this is definitely a watch list, but I really appreciate bringing this up because this is a good stock. I just think that it's not to buy right now. That's just not to buy. You have to teach. You have the tech to send out messages when you buy. Well, here's the thing. I do. I do, and I try to update my small portfolio on this, and so that's kind of what I'm doing to show you kind of what I'm in and what I'm not in, and that's really the small tech. I haven't actually done Twitter feeds on that, but I'm looking into that. I do have. I do have the small portfolio, and I want to show you that again. And if you need to get a now I do update this as often as I can when I do new buys, and that's this right here that I'm kind of showing you here. And this kind of shows you what my current holdings are. So let's take a quick look at it again. And if you don't have this, it's super easy. All you have to do to get it is to go to Dallas Trading. This is on YouTube, DallasTradingFloor.com, or the other or www.DallasTradingFloor. This is where you sign up for it. On this is the action trade alerts. I have the action trade alerts, and then I also have the model portfolio, and this is in real time. So this is essentially what I'm trading right now. This is my current holdings in the small portfolio, and that is basically. I'm in Microsoft. I'm off a bit today on that. I'm up 7%. That's getting very, very close to possibly being sold out. This is what I have done in the last month. As you can see, I've had several times I've tried to enter Tesla, and I have failed, and I have moved out of it, waiting again for the best time. I do believe it's going to move lower. And I'm also out of Facebook and Skyworks and Apple. Basically, I was in them prior to the split. As you can see, here's Apple. I tried to re-enter it. It just didn't work, and I was out. So I'm waiting for a better time. But this is the small portfolio, and it's available at DallasTradingFloor.com. And all you need to do is just sign up for it, and I'll send you the link so you can see it exactly as it happens. And as you can see, a lot of people are looking at right now. It's about quite a few people that are looking at it, but that's sort of how I communicate with everyone. I'm trying to, anyways, do it that way. So hopefully that's working well. But I do have. Okay, yeah. How do you see Apple now? Here's the thing. I'm still waiting for Apple to bottom. I am very much of an Apple bull. I don't think it's if I don't think it's I think it's only going to go be better, but right now is not an optimal time to buy it. It's just when it comes through these splits, a lot of times you'll see it'll come through the split and then it will retrace. But let me show you the chart on Apple right now. And of course, we had the big announcement for Apple on the 15th. They're going to be announcing probably the iPhone. As you can see there, it's trying to settle. It seems like there is some support right about at this level, about the 109 level. So I am going to try to, and it slid today. I'm going to try to be in this again, probably from about 108.89 on up to about 110. That's where I'm going to try to buy in again. Again, it's trying to come back to this 50-day moving average. You see this red line here? That's where it's coming back to. So if it hits this line, 107, it's probably going to bounce higher. So I'm going to try to be buying this thing probably at about 107 or possibly 106. That's where I'm going to try to buy Apple again. I'm out of Apple. I'm waiting for an optimum time to come in. I do think it's going to reverse. It's just the question of, this sell-off has to happen. We have to, there's been it ran up, the market ran up very quickly, and so it needs to be. So this is the reason why you always put you always put money out. Question here: short Tesla before closing? I wouldn't do this. Tesla is very unpredictable. Please, I don't think it's a good idea. Tesla just isn't really a good shorting stock. It doesn't have the right chart pattern. I want to show you that because it's really important. There's a very specific chart pattern that you need to look at called head and shoulders that indicates that it's potentially in a shorting capability. Now, I want to show you the Tesla chart again because this is it's touched the line, but you see there is a head here, there is a shoulder, but it's going to have to make a shoulder. It's going to have to make a lower shoulder at below 200. And I just don't think that's going to happen. I think we're going to see a reversal at about 273. That's what I think. That's where I have my buy in right now, is at about this level. But if there was to be a head and shoulders, this is a head, and this is one shoulder. The shoulder would have to be lower. It'd have to be about 200, and then it would have to be coming back from that. So we're really, really not in a good place to short Tesla in a nutshell. I don't think you short it now. In short term, you might be able to do that, but again, I just don't think it's wise to short it before closing. That's just my opinion. Is it worth holding? I think it is. Well, the question is, how far are you down? Again, this is why when I buy, I always set a stop limit at 7 or 8% down from where I bought it. I do think that I can see Apple going about to 107 or 106. That's kind of it. The good price for Apple, I'm going to say it's going to be about 107 or 106. That's probably going to be your best bet, and I'll show you why on this chart just in a second as I pull it up. And I'm going to show you that kind of graphically. The reason I believe this is because before we started when we started the announcement, this bar here was the announcement on the split. That's when it moved up, and then it settled right here. It's got support basically at 107.89. So 106, 107 is going to be kind of where I'm going to want to come back into it for Apple. I do think it's going to move higher, but I do think we're going to see some support, and so I'm kind of waiting again on that. Okay. Thoughts on Adobe earnings next week? Well, this is interesting. The thing about buying stocks, I don't like to buy stocks into earnings, as you probably know, if you've watched me for a while. I tend not to, and the reason is because no matter how good the stock, and Adobe is, it doesn't get much better than Adobe. But the problem in coming into earnings is typically the way it works is that stocks are bid up prior to earnings, and then on earnings, they tend to fall back. And obviously, we've got a lot of selling going on here. I want to show you this. On Adobe, it's not a good. If you're not in the stock right now, I wouldn't get into it. We're pulling back to the 50-day moving average. Typically, this 50-day is a reversal, so we may see a reversal on this stock. We may see it. So let me see exactly kind of where it's at. 461. So we're right about there at where we may see a reversal on Adobe. I do think that this is potentially a very good place to buy Adobe. Believe it or not, I would wait till tomorrow. I wouldn't be buying right now into the close, but this is a potentially very good place to buy Adobe because I do think we're going to see a bounce off of this line. But again, we have a lot of selling going on here, so I would want to wait until that settles down. But I do think that we do have a lot of volume and a lot of selling. So a lot of the techs are giving up a lot of what their gains were. So this might be a time, and I know this sounds strange, but this may be a time you want to get back in on that 50-day moving average, which is at 461. Thoughts on SPAC? Here's the thing about SPAC investing. I profess that I am not an expert on SPAC investing. This is sort of a new thing. This is kind of like blind pools. This is where they put together capital and then they go and invest in something. The biggest problem I have on this is that there's no track record. And I don't know what they're investing in. Other than that, they're great. I just don't know. I mean, I know that a lot of people have made money in SPACs, but it's tough. It's a tough one. Now there is a company, I think Nikola in KLA, is that right? Nikola, is that right? Nikola, yeah. Nikola may be bucking the trend today if you want to see something and see, yeah, look at that. There is a stock out there that is bucking the trend, and this is based on news from GM. They have a deal with GM, so I want to show you this stock here. I don't necessarily think this would be a good buy today. You might want to see how this one's going to do, but this might be something that you might be of interest in. It's up $14 today. It's Nikola, and it's up after hours. I know it's down a little bit after hours. We've just moved after hours here. This might be something. They announced a deal with GM. We'll see what happens. I kind of want to see what GM is doing too, because GM. Remember, GM went bankrupt in 2009, and then they were recapitalized. So this is not the old GM. This is the new GM. Oh, that's General Electric. That's another one that's kind of had the situation as well. So let's look at let's go back here to GM to see if I can give you another idea here. Yeah. Okay. Well, GM is moving up, so that's interesting. Not a stock I'm very excited about, but I'm glad to see it's moving up. It's moved above the 200-day. That's interesting. A lot of buying in GM. So there is some sympathy buying. Not really a pattern that you can buy yet, unfortunately. But we're going to see how that Nikola again up tremendously on that news. Again, I wasn't in Nikola, and this was probably one of the most successful SPACs. Okay, let's look at NEO. I've been out of NEO essentially for a while now. I've been out of NEO for a while, but let's take a look at NEO and see if there's any way we can buy this thing. Yeah, no, we can't buy this one, unfortunately. No, this is not time. Again, I was up. I was basically in it when it made its new high here, and then I sold when it pulled back. So, and that was before earnings. Yeah, there's really no way we can be in NEO, unfortunately. It's just not at a buy point right now that is going to make any sense, unfortunately. Okay, so let's see. I've got okay, daily. Okay, great. Oh, hey, by the way, if you're looking at me on TikTok, I am broadcasting right now on YouTube at youtube.com/Dallas Trading Forum. That's where all my charts are being presented. Unfortunately, with TikTok, I don't have the ability to project charts onto the green screen and behind me, unfortunately. But on YouTube, I do youtube.com/Dallas Trading Floor. So that hopefully will work for you as well. So I just wanted to put that out there. INSG. Let's look at INSG. Let's see if I can give you a better chart on INSG. I'm going to go to my little bit better charts. INSG, and let's see if I can come up. Oh yeah, look at that. That's interesting. Okay, Alpharetta, Georgia, designs 5G. Okay, not bad. All right, this is interesting. I don't know this stock, but this is a good call, man. This is a good call. I'm liking it. $10.26, and it looks like it has a pivot. This is a watch list, definitely at 1482. That's the pivot on it. Let me write this down. I have a very interesting stock. I wasn't following this one, but it looks as if they've got 5G cards, so that's very, very good. I appreciate this. INSG, and it's the 5G stock. So I definitely am going to be doing a 5G show, and I'm definitely glad that you have put this one up. It doesn't have a tremendous sponsorship. It's a D. unfortunately. It has about 17% funds are in this, which is quite good, but 5G is going to be a very big deal, and it's going to lift a lot of boats. I do see, I wouldn't buy this one today. It just isn't a today, but it is definitely a watch list, and I'm going to put this on the watch list because this one will be ready to buy when it meets, when it's at 1550 or above. Then I think we can buy that. And that's the buy point on it. And we're below the buy point, so it's definitely got to go up quite a little bit. But when the stocks are this cheap, it's not that hard for it to move up this far. But that's a very interesting stock. Thank you very much for that. Very interesting on that. So let's see if let me see if I can get another question here. The most dangerous stock, I know, is Tesla. I promise by the end of the week it will. Yeah, it probably will. Tesla is a very dangerous stock. I agree with you. But you can make money on a dangerous stock, and the way you do it is by buying it right. Now, I'm looking at the pattern. I am seeing support at about the 7. Sorry, I'm seeing support for Tesla at about 273. And this is where I'm going to be trying to buy it this week. Now, will I be successful? I don't know. I may have to inch up my buy order there a little bit, but I do think that it could easily go down through the $300 mark. But I think if it does, then we're likely to see it actually move higher, because long term, I think that Tesla is quite a good stock. And let's look at the 10-minute chart. I just want to look at the 10-minute chart, and yeah, it died at the end of the day. So this is it looks like it is. It may move. Actually, there's been a lot of selling. It may move below 320. May move from 320 tomorrow. I don't know. But again, I have my buy orders in at 273 on this one, so I'm getting ready. And hopefully I'm right on this. We'll see. We'll see what happens on that. Okay, so thoughts on Zoom. Well, ZM is another one that's ran up way very fast, and this is why you always want to set your stop losses, because it looks as if Zoom. Let's look at the daily on Zoom here. Yeah, here we go. And I'm going to pull that back up here on the screen. Thoughts on Zoom. Okay, basically, it's going to pull back. It looks like it's going to pull back to the 21-day line. That's about 300. So it looks as if, I hate to say this because this sounds very negative, but I think we're going to see a pullback on this. This is a classic blow off top, and I do think we're going to see some weakness until we get back to this green line here. This is the 21-day average, and it's right about 300. So if you're not in Zoom, I wouldn't recommend going in. If you are and you're down more than 8%, sell it. Wait for it to pull back to the 21-day line, and then possibly it's a buy again. Zoom is still a great stock. I mean, it just got over exuberant, and it. Okay, sorry about that. I don't think so. I think you got to wait on this one. I think you're going to be waiting a while on this. The thing about the stop loss is so important is that you never can totally time the market. It's always going to do things like that. I do think it's probably going to pull back a little bit more tomorrow, and hopefully, then we'll start to see it bottom at about 273 or so. That's what I'm thinking it's going to happen, and then hopefully, if it's at that level, I'll buy it, and I will basically try to telegraph it out to everybody on that as well. So. Thoughts on Power Plug? I don't know what the symbol is on that one. Could you possibly send me the symbol on Power Plug? That would be great. Nikola thoughts. Very interesting. Very interesting. Thank you for that. Nikola is interesting because it looks as if they're teaming up with GM. And that is a very interesting... I haven't been very... I haven't been very charitable with Nikola, and maybe I will be changing my opinion now that they are possibly trading with teaming up with GM, because that's a very significant very significant partnership. There is an Easter egg here. That is an amazingly good sign. This thing could move up tomorrow very, very rapidly, because it looks as if It looks as if there's a very very good volume on this. Is about the partnership with GM. I don't know what technology that they have though. I want to find that out. It's definitely above the if this green line crosses the red line, that is a very favorable event, and we're very close to that. So I'm going to watch this, and if that is the case, this is possibly a buy, but it's probably not a buy at this level. It's probably a buy at about uh, if it can stay above $47. If Nikola can stay above $47, then it's potentially a buy. It's going to pull back tomorrow. There's pretty much no question that Nikola will pull back tomorrow. The question is how far will it pull back? I think it probably will pull back to the 50-day line, but it may pull back further to the 21-day line. I don't think that's going to necessarily be the case. If it sticks around 47.45, then it might be potentially a buy. Now it's not there yet, so definitely very interesting stock. Again, I was not really counting it in, but it looks with this partnership with the partnership with GM, it may be a good buy. The buy point on this would be anything above 47, but you want to wait to see what happens tomorrow. If it bounces at about 47, I think that might be a potential buy point, but I can't really judge it. This is not the greatest chart on it, but it does have very very strong buying as of today. So very interesting. All right, thoughts on the 6-month chart for Workhorse. Let's look at Workhorse here. WKHS. So Workhorse. Let's see if I can. Oops, I get that in there. Workhorse. Yeah, here we go. Let's look at the weekly chart. This gives us about 6 months of look-see. We do have a buy point on it. Interesting. Okay, so here we go. There is a buy point on Workhorse. Very, very interesting. Okay, well, thank you for this. This is a good one. It looks like it's in a consolidation. The buy point is 2290 on this one. 2290 on Workhorse. WKHS. The buy point is 2290. Okay, 2290. There we go. Very, very good. I'll put this out to everybody that's on here. So the buy point on WKHS is equal to 2290. So that's very interesting that we have that. So putting that out there for everyone on the chat. Okay. By the way, for everybody on TikTok, super easy to see what I'm doing on my show here. Very, very easy. All you have to do is go over to www.youtube.com/DallasTradingFloor. And this is episode number 126. So if it doesn't come up directly in the browser, then it should come up there as well. And by the way, if you want to get on our action trade alerts, super easy to do. This is how I'm going to be trading. This is kind of my trading plans, and that is easy. All you have to do is go to DallasTradingFloor.com, and then you need the first and last name and an email address. And of course, it's all free, so you don't have to pay for it or anything like that. And by the way, on my website, I do have some books that have really helped me in my trading and my development as a trader over the years, and they're definitely on there. So you can just flip over to the tab, and it'll kind of give you an idea. And these are ones that if you take a look at these books and you kind of read them, and start with the beginning books, you'll really kind of get an idea of what I'm doing and why I'm doing it and why I'm saying these things. Because I know it doesn't make a whole lot of sense, like when I'm talking about consolidations and buy points and all that kind of stuff. And you say, where is all this coming from? Well, it's called CANSLIM, and it's a system that I use, and it's one of the best trading systems in the world. Is used by many of the top traders like David Ryan, and the list is going on and on. It was developed by William O'Neill, and here I am, a shameless plug for the Investor Business Daily, but it's all Investor Business Daily, and especially the charts I use, they're all about this form of trading, and it's it can be very helpful in seeing trends. It's not a fundamental way of trading. It's a technical way of trading. So it's a great way to do that. What stocks did you add to your watch list? Very good question. Thank you for that question. So let me pull pull that up here and give you that exactly at. There we go. Okay, there we go. There's the watch list, and I'll show you which ones I did put on the watch list that are new as of today. Basically, this shows you what I have bought and sold. What I have currently is up here. Then this is what I've bought and sold in September, and whether I made or lost any money. Then this is August. This was my trading record for then. And then and the most important thing is this right below it. It's called the watch list. And what I do is I put 3 stocks on the watch list today. They're Barrick Gold, which is basically right in the buy zone right now. It's pulled back to the 21-day average. The 21-day moving average is 28.50, and it's currently 29.20. So it's definitely in the buy range, and of course that's 5% above the. That's 5% above. So Barrick Gold. This is more of a defensive play. I don't think necessarily this is going to go huge. But, this is going to break out. But this is a defensive play. And by the way, if you can see, it says calculated full position. What that means is that you never want to commit any more than 1/8 of your portfolio at a time. So what you do is you take the value of your portfolio, divide it by 8. That gives you a number, and then that's the maximum shares that you want to buy at any one time. Now, you can buy more than one position, but you never go in with more than one position. So right now, in the small portfolio, my full position is $941.90. So however many shares that is, that's how many I'm going to buy if I go in with a full position. Now, I'm so talking really fast here, but the 3 stocks that I have currently that I've just added, and I'm going to be probably adding some more tonight, are top build. The reason I like this one is because we're going to see a boom in building primarily in the sand states. Those are the states like Florida, Arizona, Texas, kind of the southern states. We're going to see that. So they're doing right well. They're not in the buy zone right now, but they're on the watch list. And that's a pullback to the 21-day moving average as opposed to the 50-day. So there's really 3 points at which I like to buy a stock. One of them is that it's in a pivot. That's the absolute best, hands down way to go. And that doesn't always, but sometimes that isn't always the case. Sometimes it'll pull back to the 21-day average or the 50-day average. This is what I'm waiting for, basically for Tesla. I'm waiting for it to pull down basically to about the 50-day average, and then if it pulls back below that and then starts reversing, that's what I'm buying. And that's why on Tesla my buy point is this. It's 273.31. That's why that's my buy list. But these 3 stocks, Penn National Gaming, Top Build, and Barrick Gold, they're all on there as well. So thank you for that question. It's a great question, and I really appreciate it because, by the way, if you want access to this list that I'm showing you, it's called the Small Portfolio, and all you have to do, it's really, really easy. All you have to do is go to the Dallas Trading Floor, www.Dallas Trading Floor, and just put in your first and last name and email address, and I'll send you out a link, and then you'll be able to see this 24/7. And I try to update it as many times as I can. I do the research in the morning typically, and then I'm looking for my buy points, and then you will see when it goes from being on a watch list stock to an actual buy, and that's in the small portfolio. So that's sort of how I do it. It's the easiest way that I could find to communicate with many, because now I have, fortunately, thank you very, very much, I have a lot of people watching, and this is how I can communicate pretty easily with a lot of people, and it's just so easy. You can just get on there and you just click it. It's in Google Sheets and it's updated, so you can kind of see what I'm doing as well. All right, so Jim, can I buy NVIDIA and Lam Research? Okay, well, let's look at NVIDIA first. I actually am more bullish on NVIDIA than I am on a lot of the other ones, but let's just see if we have a good buy point on NVIDIA. It's not on the watch list right now, but this is one of my favorite stocks. I've been when I started the show, I had an original buy alert at 284, so just happened to remember that. Okay. Yeah, okay, it's pulling back. This is interesting. It looks like we may have a buy point here very shortly. Let's look at the weekly chart. Yeah, there just isn't really anywhere to buy this. The only way to buy this really is the pullback to the 50-day, and that's the buy point on this. If it reverses, it's going to be at 452.12, but it looks like it is. I would be a little bit concerned about this until there was a reversal. There's definitely selling going on, but this is potentially a buy point at 452, but you have to wait until it goes down to 452 and then it starts to reverse back up. That's when you want to buy it. It's tough because you think, wow, is it going to pull back that far? I don't know, but it's a great stock, and I still think it has legs. It's just that the whole market has been selling off. We've given back a lot of a lot of the gains have been given back, and that's a lot of times what happens. This is the reason why stop losses are so important, and also this is why it's so important to buy at the correct buy points or at the right moving averages. It's not guaranteed if you do this, but it helps a lot because it basically is a show or support. Visa or MasterCard? I think Visa is probably the better one, but you know what? I wouldn't. Here's the thing, and let's look at this. This is a very good question as well. I appreciate this question because this is kind of showing us kind of where we want to be. But I want to look at, let's see if I can get a chart for, let me see on this. Let me just get a checkup on Visa versus MasterCard. That's a good question. So I'm going to look at Visa first to see kind of where we're at in terms of that. Okay, yeah, we're down strongly actually. Okay, yeah, this is okay, here's the thing on Visa or MasterCard, and I know you're not going to like to hear this. Neither. Neither. The one you want to buy is PayPal. It absolutely is the one you want to buy. And this has the strongest overall, and it's actually a little bit less expensive than Visa. The reason that it's strong, now even though it's down today, it's down 3%, so that's significant. But I think we're going to see a bounce on it right on this 50-day moving average. That's typically what happens when there's a pullback like this. It will move to this line and then it will bounce. So we'll see. Don't buy it yet. Buy it when it goes green. Buy it when it goes and it moves above the 50-day moving average. But the 50-day moving average currently is right at about 190, 175. So we're basically below it. If we see a reversal on this, the one you want to buy is neither Visa nor MasterCard. It's PayPal. And that is going to be on a reversal. So that's my that's my suggestion to you on that as well. So want to look at that. Okay, Shopify. What is the buy point on Shopify? Good question. I don't know what the buy point is offhand. So let me see if I can mark it on the chart for Shopify. Absolutely great company, SHOP, but it's run up a lot, and we might be in a situation where it's very difficult to get. Yeah, there really isn't. The last buy point on Shopify. You're not gonna like to hear this. The last real buy point on Shopify was 450.50. Okay, so the shop buy point equals 450.50. So unfortunately that's kind of tough on that, considering it's still at 917. So it's way extended. It's pulled back to the 50-day moving average, but it looks like it's crashing through that. So really, unfortunately, the last buy point on this one is about half of where it's at now. So Shopify is very extended. Not a good time to buy it. Maybe you want to watch list it. Not a good time, unfortunately. What's next for Microsoft? Well, Microsoft is one of my all-time favorite stocks, as you know. That's Captain Obvious, but it really is. I do think that we're going to see a reversal on it. We were in a profit-taking zone here. Let me show you kind of the chart that I have on Microsoft as it stands currently. I am in Microsoft, but it's at 202, and I may be out of Microsoft. That would be kind of amazing because I do think I thought I bought it right, but I may be wrong. Let's just check to see. I do think it's fallen below the 50-day, so there's a lot of major stocks that have fallen below that 50-day average. So it's a tough place to buy right now. It's if you're not in the market, it's not a good time to buy right now. I will try to signal when it's a little bit better time to buy Microsoft than it is currently. It's just a tough it's just a tough place to buy right now. Now that said, I'm going to be going into and let's look at the small portfolio to see where I have it. I'm in. It's the only stock I'm in currently. I'm at 8%. I may have been stopped out of this stock, so depending on, I'm going to have to take a look. But yeah, I bought it at 220. I'm down 8%. I may have been stopped out of this one. I don't know. I do think we're going to see a reversal on Microsoft first, because typically when these things reverse, it's Microsoft that leads, and I think that's going to be the case. But tomorrow will tell. I may be out as well. Uh, maybe we'll out of Microsoft. That would kind of stink. But oh well. Tesla's enters. No, unfortunately, this is the reason why the sell-off on Tesla was more than expected. It doesn't look like Tesla is going to enter the S&P 500 at least this quarter. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's not going to enter it next quarter. But for this quarter, no, it's off the table, and that's part of the reason why the sell-off. But also, it was also, remember, on the show, I've been talking about how when stocks split, there's a dip post sell-off. So the optimal time, of course, on a split to sell is right before it splits, and then wait for it to start to upward trajectory. And I've been trying to buy back in with the upward trajectory. It just doesn't happen with Tesla, unfortunately. And but I do have a buy-in on Tesla right now, and my price on that is $273. So hopefully I'll be able to pick it up for that. I may not be able to. It may not go that low. I do think that that's probably where we're going to see it turn, but I just can't exactly tell you exactly the time. Can you check Skyworks? Absolutely. Let me look at Skyworks right quickly. SKWS, and I still think fire. Oops. SWKS. There we go. Skyworks. I had indicated, yeah, Skyworks has unfortunately fallen below. Let's look at it on the weekly. Yeah, okay. So on the weekly chart, it's a little bit easier to kind of see where we might have a potential re-entry into Skyworks. So let me see if I can give you that. It looks as if it has fallen below the 50-day, which is definitely the case. It's well above the 200-day, which is good. We did have a lot of selling pressure here, obviously. I do think that this may have we may have seen a. I don't think we've seen a change of character, but we're going to watch it this week. If we get it to reverse, then we haven't seen a change of character. If it continues to move down to that 200-day, then we have had a change of character and it's not viable. So right now it's not viable, and unfortunately I don't have a really good buy point for you. Really, this should be bought at the 50-day moving average, which is 138. So if there is a reversal on this, and I think there's a very good chance that it will be, and it moves above 138, not below, above 138, then it's potentially viable. But right now, it's below that 50-day moving average, and so it's not going to be a good time to buy it. We may have seen a change of direction on this. I don't think long term that's going to be the case, because this is one of the 5G stocks, and I do think they're going to be strong. But right now, if you're not in it, don't. Watch list it, wait for it to turn. If it turns above 138, then I think you might have something there. So kind of wanted to put that out there. I really appreciate the question. So let's see if I can, well, the last questions from Tech Talk. Thank you. Do you think we'll go up again? Well, I think Tesla will go up again. I just think it's going to pull back to about in the 170s. Now, will it pull all the way back to 170 to 273? I don't know, but that's where I'm going to try to buy it. I'm going to try to buy it about there. So I have spent a whole hour, and I do appreciate everybody here. Thank you so much. It's so much fun doing this show, and I just really like it. Now, if you want to ask me a question, I try to get to all of these. I don't always get to all of them because I'm kind of a one-man band, and well, I have some interns now, so things are getting more staffed up. But I am sort of a one-man band, and sometimes it's not that I don't value every question I do. It's just that I don't necessarily get to everyone as timely as I need to. But if you want to ask me a question, it's super easy. All you have to do and I do this so I can keep track of all the questions and I keep them, organized. And that is go to DallasTradingFloor.com and hit Ask a Question. And I will try to respond to it either on the show or offline as quickly as I can. And of course, continue watching me on TikTok. I really appreciate everybody from TikTok. But more importantly, if people are watching on TikTok, I could really use your help. If you could go over to YouTube / Dallas Trading Floor and subscribe, that would be really great. It would really help me out and help me make this thing even better with hopefully some educational content as well, and as much as we can try to do. Again, thank you so very much for watching today. So one last question from YouTube. So there we go. Thank you. Thank you so very much, and thank you for watching. I'm sorry. I didn't get to Docusign. Let's do the last one. That's Docusign. DOCU. That's a great stock too. I think it's probably seen a little bit of a pullback though too. Yeah. Okay. It's pulled back right to the 50-day. So it potentially is very viable in this point at this level. So I want to show you this chart really quickly. This is the weekly chart. And the reason I use the weekly chart is for buy points. It's kind of lets us zero in on the right thing. It's still very, very strong. It looks as if it's pulled back to the 50-day moving average. It's still in a downward motion, but there was a lot of buying right before then. So I do think we're going to see a bounce on this, and that would be right at about 204. If this thing moves above 204 in the next few days, then it's potentially a buy. So I appreciate everybody here, and I will see you tomorrow at 2:30 Central. And happy trading, and I hope that set those stop losses, everyone. Please set those stop losses so that you protect your capital. But this is a volatile market. It's a little bit more difficult to trade, but we're going to make some money. And I thank you again for stopping by.